TI Sport. I think they're beautiful looking cars for sure. I remember with my limited experience with those vehicles, the techs seem to be a little bit lacking, but if you've got a 2020, if you've had it for a while, it's been a good car, then that's all that matters, right? But let's see here. All right, so what's everyone got going on today? Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for swinging by, hanging out. Can I answer some questions, car related or otherwise? What is the largest negative equity you've ever seen? Well, we had a video from earlier in the year where between two trades, somebody was over $100,000 upside down. So it was pretty spectacular number of negative equity. So yeah, there's negative equity is rough out there right now. It really is. There's no fun way to say it, no easy way to say it other than just a lot of bad decisions, people getting in and out of cars too quickly. Yeah, it's tough. Shane, I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words, my friend. I appreciate it. In your opinion, what is the best approach if there's one for cold calling to book appointments? It depends on what industry you're in. Are you talking about car sales or yeah, would need a little bit more there. I mean, we don't really do cold calling here so much as we do warm calling, because all the people that we're cold calling are current clients of the store, people that know us somehow, some way. So I wouldn't really call it a cold call so much. Caleb, I appreciate that. Love the content. Hawks, no, that was that video was meant to be an imagining of how I would handle that situation. So I put that in the comment, but not sure everyone caught that. But what kind of car do you have? I have an EQS 580. In fact, I just made a video where I showed that vehicle. Just have a video. What do you all currently do for marketing? We do some basic stuff. Samantha, we have we do marketing specials to our service department. We do marketing to our current client base mostly. And then, of course, I make a lot of social media that I guess you could call that marketing to a degree. Why do I love Merc so much? Mark, I love them so much because I just feel like it's the most iconic car brand. They invented the car. They've invented almost every modern safety feature on the car, other than the seatbelt. Volvo gets credit for that. It's been incredible. It's an incredible brand. They have something for everyone. Hey, Just Dom, yes, I got the package today. Thank you. I have a picture that I'm going to post either tonight or tomorrow. But thank you for your kindness. That was really incredible of you. So Just Sosi, I hope I'm saying that right, sent me a package of bow ties, which I love, like a whole bunch of them. So here, check this out. Got them right here. And quite the haul. Or I thought I had them right here. What did I do to them? Where did I put these? Oh, wait a minute. Wrong pocket. But check this out. Boom. Dom, thank you, my friend. Look at this. Stocking up. All kinds of, a lot of purple in here, which is good. I like purple. That's nice. Some red, some blue, some yellow. Boom. But you see this is the fun part, because my entire collection of bow ties is just from its gifts, friends, family, right? So I love it because that adds that's like 10 ties, if not more. But Dom, that was incredibly generous of you. I'm really appreciative, and that's going to be very helpful because I have a couple of ties in my collection that I think are ready to be retired. They're a little bit worn through, and now I'm restocked. So I'm very thankful. That was incredibly generous of you. I'm impressed that you have had that many bow ties, but I really do appreciate that. Bergen, no, I'm the general sales manager. I know I talk a lot about finance-related things in my videos, but I'm not the finance manager, no. Excellent. I can see the passion was always curious. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, really, really passionate about this brand. And I think you have to be passionate. I know you've got to be passionate about whatever brand you're representing. 100% you have to. Pat, is the market down in general for auto sales? I would say that June has been slower than May. Overall, sales have still been strong. I think we're right at an interesting tipping point where all of the price protections that these manufacturers have done on 2025 models are, I wouldn't say they're coming to an end, but we're getting closer to that point of 2026 models starting to show up that are going to have increased prices. So, and it's not just increased prices, right? Remember that increased prices are what you can see easily on, from the perspective of when you're shopping for a car, you can see if a manufacturer raises the MSRP of a car, right? That's easy to see. What you can't see as easily is if they're pulling back on incentives, right? So my guess is that a lot of manufacturers are going to do a combination of both, where they're going to have a small increase on the MSRP, but if they peel back on incentives, that essentially has the same net effect. So when do we get to see the cheapy G550? Sean, that is on the water, scheduled to be here maybe by the very end of the month. So we're probably a week or so away from that still. R. Wilson with new Mercedes standards. We are remodeling our store. I have a fully personalized car enthusiast style office with the new remodel. No more personalization on the walls. What would you recommend? Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, the rule has always been no personalization on the walls with Mercedes. You know, that's the way that they want it. You know, auto manufacturers believe that because they can't be in the dealership selling the cars themselves, that the best way for them to impact the sales experience is to have requirements for what the dealership looks like. So yes, Mercedes does have new requirements for dealers that are either building new stores or remodeling. I've seen a couple of them. They are very, very good looking, the new remodel. But yeah, if you're going to lose some of that personality in your office, I'm sure that you're still going to be able to have a couple things in there. Like I have a digital picture frame. Look, if you're in sales, you want the ultimate cheat code, get yourself a digital picture frame. Okay, it's an absolute cheat code, because what it allows you to do is people are sitting in your office, okay, the picture frame is behind you, and it has just pictures rotating in, right? I'd recommend no more than 15 seconds before it rotates. And it allows people to kind of out of their periphery see parts of your life, right? It could be parts, you know, things that you've done, pictures of your family, cool places you've been. If you like food, you can do food. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. But it gives them an opportunity to see something that will make them want to ask a question. So it's like such a great way to help keep conversation going, because, you know, when people are sitting in your office, they're in a dealership, they're probably feeling a little bit intimidated, and they might not want to be there, right? Hopefully you've won them over at this point, but assuming you haven't, give them something that they can ask you a question about. So if you don't have a digital picture frame in your office and you're in sales, that is like the single best thing you could ever do. So I would definitely recommend that. What does a 2025 SL go for, Jonathan? That really depends on what variant of SL you're talking about. We have a 43, 55, 63, 63 plug-in hybrid, right? These are anywhere from $110,000 to over $200,000 brand new, right? So they're quite the spread. Charles, the newer EQS should look like a regular S-Class right by 2028. Yeah, so Charles, beginning next year, we should see the redesigns of our EQs, right? They're going to drop the EQ names, and they are going to be styled to look like the gas cars, so the ICE cars. And so we don't really have any official images on what that's going to look like, but that should start next year. I think next year in so calendar year 2026 and calendar year 2027, we should begin to get those new models. So. Peter, have you ever done traditional ties? Yeah, I used to wear traditional ties all the time. Back in about 2014, I started wearing bow ties, and I just haven't stopped since then. So Dustin, I used to have fake pics of kids and a wife when I was in the business work. Like, okay, well, Dustin, that's not what I was going for, right? You want pictures of real things that you got going on. Daniel, my dad wanted to get me for my 18th birthday a GLS 63 AMG for my first car for North Holmes. Well, that sounds like wow, that would be an incredible first car. That would be an incredible first car. We'd love to help you with it when the time comes. I've had a 98 CL600, 23,000 miles, one owner, left-hand drive, and managed storage with me here in the UK. Tricky sale. Would the market be king to low? Are you saying send the V12 stateside? I have noticed that there is a lot of V12 love that's starting to happen here in the States. I think people are realizing that V12s are going to be a very uncommon thing moving forward. So, in fact, we have a local doctor that just purchased a 2003 S600 that's been sitting for 15 years. And he brought it in for service, and he's getting all the stuff done to it so that he can make it a daily driver. But, you know, he looked for it because S600s are incredibly rare. And, yeah, it's a V12. Carl, ranch or blue cheese on your wings? That's a great question, Carl. I would have to say ranch. I mean, I'm not against blue cheese, but my preference would be for ranch. How about you? Charles, do you think the price on EQS will go up when the new body comes out? Well, Charles, I think that there's a lot of legislature right now. There's a lot of potential for EV tax credits to be going away and those incentives to be pulled back. I think what you're going to see for sure is that manufacturers are going to pull back big time on EV production in general. So as production gets pulled back, then your supply goes a lot lower. The need to incentivize goes down, right? When you've overproduced a car, relative to the demand that it has in the market, then that's what you need incentives for, right? It's no different than clothing that goes on sale because you've got winter coats off season in June, right? You can either sit on that inventory forever, or you can throw money at it to make it go away. So it stands to reason that if they drastically pull back on production of EQSs in the future, and if these tax credits do go away, then yeah, they're going to get a lot more expensive, unless they can somehow bring the cost down by making the batteries cheaper and the components cheaper. But my best guess would be that they become more expensive. Carl, the obvious answer is ranch on spicy wings and blue cheese on garlic or parm. Duh. Okay, well, yeah, I could see your line of thinking there, 100%. Which model has the highest residual value and strongest incentives? So I'd have to, generally, the higher the incentives, the lower the residual value is going to be, right? They kind of go hand in hand. But what I would tell you is I wouldn't get too hung up on residual values because they're mostly arbitrary, right? They're very rarely accurate. At best, they're a guess. At worst, they're completely manipulated. So, a couple months ago, I would say right now the C-Class and the GLB probably have the best combination of incentives and high residuals. Now, I think the residuals are definitely, they're not realistic. I think the cars are not going to be worth what the residuals state, but, that's what you want. That equals a lower lease payment. What's your opinion of BMW X6 compared to the GLE? You want to make sure that if you're comparing an X6 to a GLE, that you're comparing it to the GLE Coupe, right? Because the X6 is the Coupe variant of the X5, and the regular GLE is going to be a competitor to the X5. The GLE Coupe would compare it to the X6. They're both great vehicles. They sell well. They're low production, high demand. I'll tell you this: the GLE Coupes hold their value very well. Very well. Ty, any tips of negotiations for out the door price? Ty, this is going to be super dependent on who you're doing business with, because some dealerships are going to make it a huge back and forth with you. They're going to try to wear you out and get you to overpay. Other dealerships like us, we're going to give you our best price up front. So there is no manipulation of those numbers outside of maybe there's an incentive that you qualify for, or maybe there's registration fees that will be different than what we initially quoted based on where you live. But that question really just comes down to the dealership you're doing business with. But I will say this: the best advice that I can give you is you can always ask, right? So if you're given a price, just ask the dealership if that's the best that they can do, if there's anything else they can do for you, and you'll know immediately whether or not it really is their best price based on how they respond, right? They're either going to hesitate and start stumbling over their words, or hemming and hawing and going to check with somebody. If any of that's happening, then it probably is not their best price, okay? If they can confidently look at you and say, yes, this is our best price, there's nothing more to give, and even if you want to double down and ask one more time just to be sure, then I can tell you that is going to be their best price, right? It's really easy to tell. It's a matter of confidence in how they answer the question. So, thoughts on the CLE Coupe? Absolutely love it. Mercedes hit a home run with the CLE Coupe. The CLE 53, especially the AMG, is a dynamite car. It's an absolute home run, and love it. It's been selling like crazy. We really love that car. Stephen, will the GLC be incentivized before the new model year? I'm not sure, Stephen. I mean, it's possible, but the GLC has historically been a low incentive car. It's the #1 selling car here in the States for Mercedes-Benz, so it has a lot of demand relative to the supply. So I'm not going to say it's impossible, but if there were cars that I was banking on incentives on, that would be on my list of less likely for incentives. Christopher, what is your opinion on Foursquare selling? I think Foursquare selling is outdated. I think it is used to try to manipulate. The dealers that do use it will tell you that they use it because it makes the process simpler and easier for the customers to understand. I disagree with that. I think that it's purposefully meant to be vague and to get your attention onto the monthly payment. So it leaves way too much information out. You should always be asking to see a worksheet that has a full breakdown. Okay, so I don't agree with Foursquare selling. Benzel-Busch, Mercedes, and Englewood, great dealer. Yeah, I mean, do a lot of dealer trading with them. So I've done a lot of dealer trades with Benzel-Busch over the years. Let's see, how will the tariffs affect the resale? That's a great question. I'm not even going to speculate on that. You thought I was Bill Nye? Yeah, I know, right? The bow tie, I hear that one a lot. Thank you for everyone hanging out, by the way. If you are not following already, would love and appreciate you hitting the follow button or the subscribe button over on YouTube. And if you keep hitting the like button, tapping the like button, hitting the thumbs up button, that's all very helpful, so I really do appreciate it. Dezo, have you heard any customers say they prefer the last generation S-Class design language to the current? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would say a lot of people prefer the old S-Class. The old S-Class was an absolute dynamite car. It was one of the best. And that's not to say that the new one isn't great as well, but I think that people generally preferred the interior layout of that car, and I think you're going to see the S-Class, when it does finally get a redesign next year, is going to have quite a different look on the inside. Jeremy, I appreciate that. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Thank you so much. EMG 53 AMG selling well. I'd say relatively, yeah, Mark. They're a low production car. There's not a ton out there, so it's hard to say how well they're really selling, but we're not sitting on a big stockpile of them. I'm a big fan. I'm super excited for the E53 wagon that's coming later this summer. Let's see, the Mercedes equivalent to the Volvo XC90 would be the GLE. Nathan, have tariffs affected imports yet? Yeah, well, if you follow automotive news at all, what you'll have noticed is that automotive imports from May of this year versus May of last year are down significantly. So I think it was a 72% drop in imported cars from this time last year to now. So what that tells me is that manufacturers are still taking a wait and see approach. I mean, they're, and again, right, we're just playing the hand that we've been dealt, but it really seems like manufacturers are under the belief that they will be able to negotiate these tariffs down, and so a lot of them are in a holding pattern. They're waiting to export cars with the hope that there'll be a lower tariff rate. Now, I just don't know if that's going to happen. I know that there was at the summit in Canada that the Prime Minister of Japan wanted to negotiate on the tariff rate, and I guess that didn't go anywhere. But yeah, it's what we're going to quickly have happen is it here, and I'll just tell you, I'll give you an example. So Mercedes has done a really good job of getting cars into the hands of the dealers. They, all of these 2025s, and they wanted to get us all this inventory as quickly as they could. But what we have now, what we are faced with now, is a very low number of cars that are, I would say, immediately inbound. So that is dropping fast. And if imports continue to go down, then inventory on the ground is going to start to dwindle. And that's when you could have the dual effect of prices rising because of lower inventory and prices rising because the cars are becoming more expensive. So let's see. Nathan, do you think Tesla will go belly up? I would be surprised if that happened, but again, who knows? Willito, thank you so much for the gift. That's very kind of you. What is the process to place an order for a G550 similar to the olive green you posted? Is there a hard wait list and a long allocation time? No, so G550s, I generally have some availability on. So if you wanted to do a custom build on a G550, I almost always have at least one allocation available, or at least one that comes up pretty quickly. So right now I do actually have one available allocation. So if you would like to custom build that G550 for yourself, it is a 2025 model. It's scheduled to be built at the end of August, so that's a pretty late build, but maybe they're extending the run on those a little bit. But we might see that car by end of September, Willito. So there is no fancy process other than get in touch with us. We will go through the build with you. We'll get it locked in. We'll take a down payment from you, and then we will, when the car comes in, then you're gonna be, free to enjoy it however you want to enjoy it, right? So there's no rules in place on G550s, so to speak. So yeah, if you want to go to the link in my bio, you can. There's a link in there to work with the team, work with Doug Horner, put your information in there. We will be in touch because we're just about out of time today. Probably wouldn't be until tomorrow morning, but yeah, we can get you locked in on that build. Have you ever seen a brand not offer leases greater than 36 months, and if so, why? I've never seen that before. I'm not going to say that it hasn't been done before, but I've never seen a brand that didn't have longer than 36-month leases. That seems a little unusual to me. Do all Mercedes require A and B services? Well, that's what we alternate, A and B services, right? So you do an A service at 10,000 miles and a B service at 20. Does MBFS allow you to buy additional miles during your lease? Yes, Sergio. You can call Mercedes-Benz Financial and you can add extra miles during your lease. So if you realize that you're going to be driving significantly over the allowable miles that you contracted for, call them up. You can buy additional miles and spread them out over your remaining payments. So, what advice or recommendation do you have for a 15-year technician that wants to make a change to sales? Well, Adam, the best thing that you can do is you gotta talk to your your service manager, talk to the general manager of the store, make them aware that that's a change that you want to make. Right, the first step is they have to know that that's something that you want to do, because if you never make them aware of it, then they can never help you to take those next steps. And then from there, what I would ask them is, what do you need from me? What do you need to see from me in order to make that leap? Right. So if I know I want to get into sales, and I'm not in sales currently, then I'm going to ask my superiors what is going to be the requirement, what is going to be needed from me to make that leap. How much wear and tear do you guys allow on the seats when it's in a lease and I'm bringing back the car by seats? So, Charles, that is, Mercedes-Benz uses a company called AutoVin. It's a third-party independent inspection company that comes out. Generally, the rule with Mercedes-Benz is we call it the credit card test, right? So take a credit card about this size, and if it can be covered up by a credit card, then it's going to be, they're going to look the other way at it, right? So any dents, stings, little scratches, and that's interior or exterior that could be covered by a credit card, and they would not, ding you for that. No, it's not a clip-on. No, of course not. No, these are all self-tied. But what's the most expensive car you've ever sold? A couple of 4x4 G wagons for about $450K, up in that neighborhood. Yeah, plus 400, somewhere in there. Do you get a lot of CLA 45s? Are they good vehicles, and what's your opinion? We don't get a lot of them. It's a low production vehicle. I think that the CLA 45 is a lot of fun. I think that it's a huge amount of horsepower for the size, and it's a lot of fun for the money, for sure. Versus the RS3, I'd put it head to head against an RS3 any day, but it's just really going to come down to personal preference. But it's a rocket ship for sure. On a EQS all-wheel drive 2025 SUV loaner with 1,800 miles, how much of a discount should I expect off MSRP in addition to the incentive? That's an impossible question for me to answer because dealers treat loaner EQs so differently. Some discount them very aggressively, others do not. There's really no easy way for me to answer that. But thank you again for everyone hanging out. Probably got another 5 minutes or so. What's up?
Do you know anyone at a Mercedes dealer in Buffalo or around Buffalo?
Yeah, I know Mercedes-Benz Buffalo. Why?
Okay. After that, can you? I need something shipped up
You just want me to email the guy with you copied
Yeah,
on it?
if you can, just for,
Sorry, just a moment. Buffalo area, and he is wondering. A great guy, he will help you out. All right. Huck saw that video on FOMO. I agree. There's no missing out unless you're getting an allotment for a Ford GT or an MBSLR. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. What else is new? A couple more minutes. What's your honest opinion on AMG Jared leaving? Well, Nick, I think that AMG Jared, he was very passionate about making social media. He wanted to be able to do that full time without having to worry about, a dealership or Mercedes-Benz, not liking the content, and he just wanted to pursue it, right? He believed in it, and so I give him credit for following something that he was passionate about. I mean, whether it was the right decision or the wrong decision, that's not for me to decide or anybody else to decide. That's for him, but I applaud him for following his passion and his dream, because I know that that's very hard for a lot of us to do in general, right? Change is very scary for most people, so he's going for it, and right, I'm happy for him. So, Papa, how are you so awake at night? Coffee? Yeah, I caffeinate throughout the day, keep me going, but when I get into these live streams where I'm answering questions rapid fire, it kind of helps it wakes me up, right? So I really like doing that. What EVs have the best tax credit right now? Well, EQS sedans have the best incentive. The tax credit's all the same, $7,500 on leasing for sure. Christopher, I've not been to the NADA Academy. Your sales guys always have to run the numbers by you, even if they're able to close deals. No, so a lot of the videos that you're seeing now are deals that we worked last year. These videos are mostly from last year when we didn't have our current desking solution in place, so they had to come work deals by hand. So now that we've upgraded our technology, they can work all the deals right from their desk, and we give everyone our best price right up front, so they don't need to come to talk to me unless they're needing to talk through a situation, or if they need me to add a fleet incentive into the deal, like AAA or Sam's Club. We don't have American Express anymore. I know that's confusing because the videos often mention it, but we do, that's mostly what they'd be coming to talk to me about now. But thank you for everyone who's hitting that like button. Thank you to everybody who's a new follower tonight. I really do appreciate that. All of your support is just incredible to me. It means the world. Thoughts on the GLB 35? I mean, Johnny, if the GLB is the right size for you and you like the look of the GLB, then 35 is a great way to make it a lot more fun to drive, right? I mean, I can't say enough nice things about anything that gets the AMG treatment, and I think it sits at a nice price point. They're generally well incentivized. They lease out pretty well. So I think that the GLB 35 is a nice choice. I think that some people really love that boxy styling. It's kind of the one SUV we have that breaks the traditional mold of all the other SUVs, which are a little bit more rounded and consistent with each other. Does the income restriction on the EV tax incentive apply to leases? No, Daniel. So the reason that EVs, well, first of all, please don't buy any EVs. Just can't do it unless you're buying it super used, right? So 3 years old or older, off lease, whatever. But one, you're going to qualify for less incentives. But the way that the law is currently written for those EVs is that if you lease them, they are considered commercial vehicles, which allows the manufacturer to capture that $7,500 lease incentive for you, which is used to either discount the car, or some of them might apply it as a rebate, which would then be kind of like a down payment. Effectively, it's the same thing whether you're discounting the car or putting a down payment. The net effect is the same. You would rather it be a discount because that's going to lower your tax burden, right? You want the selling price to be lower versus a rebate, which is going to be taxed. So, does the income restriction on the EV? Okay, we just talked about that. Do MB dealers sell the AMG e-bikes like some Ford dealers? No, we don't have the AMG e-bikes here in the States as of yet. That would be very cool if they brought them here, but not currently. So, all right, I'm gonna put a pin in it there because I'm running out of time. But thank you so much for everybody who came and hang out tonight. Really do appreciate it. Thank you for all the feedback and for engaging with my videos and all the kind words, and the support means the world to me. And I hope you're all having a great day, and hope to see you all tomorrow. So until then, have a great rest of your